Welcome everyone. How's everyone doing? This is day 5 of our Why Coding in Public series. Um, we are going to start off from where we left last time uh, for our recipe app. For those of you who are just joining in and don't know me, my name is Sami, and I have zero coding knowledge. My past profession has been more of a functional consultant, so we're gonna be using my process building skills to kind of develop an app without coding anything myself. I'm gonna be utilizing AI, and for this series, I'm using Codex, which is Chat GPT coding AI along with Cursor. So we're going to use Codex as an extension. I don't have any subscription for Cursor. I only have subscription for Chat GPT. Their plus subscription, I believe, which is like 25 bucks. So we're just going to be utilizing that to to work on this project. I have, however, changed my preferences a little. I'm not using their biggest model for development because what I felt was like it didn't give me enough tokens to complete whatever I was wanting to do. Plus, the work that I've been doing, it doesn't require that much computation that I go up with a higher model. So I've reduced my model down from a 5.6 or 5.5 to a 5.4 mini, which is able to handle most of the work that I need to get done. But wherever, if we're getting stuck in a loop or anything, that's where I might think about upgrading the model to get that particular task done and then downsizing it again. That's the plan. So we're just going to start off where we left off. So what we have done so far is kind of in the past few days, we've been building up a parser for recipes that come in. Now those recipes could be in different formats. So right now we're not integrating any kind of LMM for my first MVP, but that is the plan later on. So right now we have to do manual parsing. What that means is like any data that comes into, like, a recipe that gets copied over and pasted into the application needs to kind of split it into different columns and put it in properly. So I don't want the user to do that. So the application should be smart enough to pick different details, right? So if it's giving you a quantity, and if it's giving you units, it should be able to separate it out and put it side by side, but technically in separate columns, so that it's better for readability's sake. Now, then on top of that I was able to build to some extent, and we did some testing around it when it kind of seemed like it was working properly. I took off some of the recipes from all recipes and then pasted on over there, so it seemed like it was working. I had a duplicate function that I kind of took off. So one was to type manually and the other one was to paste. So like I kind of thought that it was kind of the same functionality, I would say. So I decided that I'm going to take one off and I'll keep one for now. And then we're going to build up on that. And then once we went into it and when we started posting recipes, then I thought maybe, okay, so there is a function where you're just like, reviewing a recipe, but then there's also a time where you want to not only just review a recipe, you actually want to make it, right? And when you go about making that recipe, the numbers change, right? So that recipe could be for one serving or one person, but you want to make it for like 3 people, then you have to kind of triple or double the recipe. So I added that feature where like you can click make a recipe, and then you can tell the recipe how many serving sizes or how many people are you feeding. You just press that, and it increases or decreases the amount accordingly. So that works because it just allows them to, like, play with the batch for making. However, what I also felt like, when you go into the instructions, if there's any kind of instructions that are kind of related to those quantity changes, then how are we able to kind of relate each one of them to it? So that's where maybe we might require some thinking in this session, just to see how far we can get over there. Or I'm gonna take a look at further recipes just to see if, like, the general trend is to like put the recipe and then there's just a reference to that recipe, but not actually the quantity is mentioned, which I would think it would make sense because you've already mentioned the recipes up there. So technically, if you're just referencing the ingredient, then you would know that that's the amount of quantity that you would need. But I would have to check on that. So that's where, like, we stopped last time in our stream. So that's where we're gonna pick up from. um, so yeah, and feel free to put any questions down if you have any regarding this, or any other thing that you're curious about. I'll try my best to answer. Consider this, I don't have a lot of AI knowledge. I do understand how to play around with AI, but that's why we are here for, to learn while we're building together. So feel free to put down your questions if I can answer, or if not, then we'll just look for the answers together. Perfect. Okay, then let's get started. Okay. Mm, no, no, I don't want this right now. I'll close this. Okay, first things first. My super whisper has been annoying because I tried to add another shortcut to it that made it really unbearable for me to use. I tried to use my mouse's, the separate button on the side, but I think it's not really helpful. Just because it gets confused between whether if I want to go back a page. So I need to change that. Although I'm really loving this functionality from Super Whisper, allows me to dictate what I need to get done, and it just types everything down, and then I can just send it to the agent rather than doing all of that myself. So I forgot where. I think it was here. Let's take this one out. Okay. Okay, so this is the app so far. We're gonna launch this later. Paste a note and type it. We thought was actually awfully similar. So rather than calling it paste a note and type it, we thought that we might just combine all of it in one go, because I believe a lot of people don't write recipes, right? They're just gonna copy and paste. And maybe there should be an ingestion system in this recipe app as well, so that it's able to just save all the recipes from online. But I think where it's just getting, like, I'm getting stuck is every website, everything else would have a different format to it. So if we're not using an LLM, that parsing would just, I don't know how that's going to work right now. So that's why I'm not just going too deep into the ingestion side right now, but it is something that can be tested and eventually shipped into the application. So first, in my MVP, I might not go for that, but later on, it makes sense to add that. Okay. So okay. So what's this? Okay. So I have to upgrade my super. Would it work now? But I don't want a pro model. Yeah, we'll just start off with that, and now we'll see if it's too annoying. We can think about upgrading, but for now, I think it's all right. Okay. We decided that we will take out type it and kind of combine it with paste a note functionality. We decided we're going to take out type it and add it to paste a note functionality. Since they are pretty similar. What happened over here? I have no idea. Okay. Go back to cursor. Yeah, so the whole idea that is right that we're thinking about right now is to produce this, when you're entering the recipe, to take both of them, make that as one, because it's awfully similar. Meanwhile, I am also going to take a look at this piece where all of this recipe, when you kind of click make, I'm just trying to understand, like, okay, so preheat oven for 190 degrees, grease a inch baking pan. Okay, bring 1 cup butter. So why are you bring 1 cup butter? Okay, remove from heat. Pour batter and prepare. Okay, I think this is something we can discuss and plan with the AI to see how it would just work on this kind of a problem, and see if we are able to come up with a solution. For the make recipe, when we change the number of serving sizes, the instructions or the directions, they could reference some kind of, like, the ingredients along with the quantity. How can we handle that when we're making changes on the serving size, that those get updated without changing the recipe? I just need suggestions. Do not make any changes right now. In the meanwhile, I think we should run some music. Okay. Term size link is doing a lot of work right now, so I think let's let it cook. In the meanwhile, okay, so add Can we have a better heading for this feature? Yes, do so. Okay, so I think that makes sense. Let it cook. No. Okay. Yes, do so. In the meanwhile, let's test out some more all recipes. Okay, wow. It's taking long to think. Let's not just go to all recipes, let's go to something else. Can we get some recipe for dinner? I believe I'm sure people are reading recipes as well, but I think there's a lot of trend towards going to like your Instagram and looking at visuals along with it. So maybe we have some kind of angle there, but how are we gonna go for it? So don't know yet. So see, now this is completely different. Then okay. One pot chili mac and cheese. Okay, let's copy this and see what's going on. Let's call it this. Ingredients. I'm hoping that the parsing would work better now. Instructions. Okay. So I got this recipe off from here. 1 tablespoon. Okay, so see, this is still an issue. I like the make heading button that kind of works along with it. Spices. Homemade. Yeah. Now this. I think we gotta fire up an agent to kind of work on this while the other stuff is happening. Can you check the parsing over here too? I think when I tried to copy off recipe from different website, now it's not able to parse because of the boxes over there. Can you add rules and create edge cases around those so that next time these kind of errors don't occur? Okay, so that's working. Okay. Wow. Maybe this is just a lot of work for this guy. No. Yeah. I don't want to deal with this thing right now. So I want to see how I can close this out for now. I'm debugging any issues right now, building functionalities. Just trying to make changes. Okay, in the meanwhile, I do want to run a list of things that I think I can. so confirmed Firebase is storing the details. Need to check sign-in authentication. What I am trying to see is what other things I need to. So maybe I think like what might be worthwhile is to create a list of things that I need to get done for my MVP, because then it'll keep it a bit more structured. And then we can add any new features. Yeah, UI changes is absolutely important. Improve the UI. Review onboarding as well. Lemon Texas. Okay, so it's the same one. Now, I like this. I like this. Tagging functionality. Add tagging functionalities to the recipes to assist with filtering. Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on over here, so that took way too long. Yes, do so. Yes, I think that's a good idea. Yes. It's still showing those boxes. Okay. Time for some AI related news. What's going on here today? Interesting. Has Meta raised its AI game? I'm interested. What it's out of it. Oh, I can't function without my coffee. Really been trying to shed the impression that it does not have the current strategy. Yeah, that's... It released Muse Spark 1.0, which is capable of coding and agenting tasks. The company has priced the access at 1.25 per million input tokens and 5.25 per tokens of output to launch. It's a way of launching a cloud computing business. Overall, Meta stock has a consensus rating of a strong buy from 53 analyst reports. Analysts polled by bar chart 669. They Meta is a pretty good company in terms of execution. I know they every now and then get things wrong, but somehow they always pull through. They have a really solid core business built on advertising, similar to Google, but they don't have the other parts that Google has, like Google Cloud initiative, right? So I think that's where Meta is lacking a bit behind. But I still think they are kind of trying to do that by, like, this is what I'm trying to understand over here as well. They're using their capital, they're trying to invest in. I think they would get into the cloud computing race as well, because that's where all these operators are benefiting, since there's so much demand for AI, and all these data centers are going to become really valuable for running AI, since everything is getting integrated with AI. So eventually that also means the data center is going to become more valuable too. Okay, hopefully we got but it doesn't pass. Okay, this is really good, but first of all, in terms of the ingredients, they weren't there's a lot of ingredients. Why is it cutting off so many ingredients? Or maybe not. Do we not put a lot of ingredients? Yeah, so see? That was the whole ingredients list, but somehow it managed to only capture a few. Not good. Okay, let's delete this. I want to redo this. Hopefully this time it works. Nope. I don't like this. I really don't like this. And then why is it not saving all the recipes? That sucks. It didn't fix the box issue, and then it's also cutting out recipe ingredients for some reason. Okay, so let's see, where are we with this? Yeah, it's for some reason it's not. It's darn it. I don't know why this is a fixed now span built-in. It's still not taking those out. Nope, not sure why. Okay, it's doing a lot of work, but let's see if it's able to do something. This, for some reason, I think I'm just gonna put it to stop, and we'll see if we can use a larger model to help with that. That being said, so far we've used we've used 92% of our 5-hour limit, and weekly we're at 99%. So we're doing good for now. I think it's only because we're using a smaller model, but I am okay with that for now. Yeah, so better parsing rules to take out the box from the recipes, since that's not needed. Why is ChatGPT so slow today? Is there a higher load? I don't know. Here's another interesting application, Mandu. Cook what you have. So Mandu, just ask menu, it saves recipes, it schedules meals. Interesting. Maybe the saving ingestion might be a good idea, but we'll see. So now I feel like the whole thing has changed from initially you used to get a buy option within, when you were purchasing an app, it would say, okay, this app is for like $2, $3. But it kind of seems like everyone's moved away from that, and they kind of offer free. It says free, but then when you kind of click in, it shows in-app purchases. So I think everyone's moved from just putting a number on the app store from where they can buy to actually going into the app and then having a full on onboarding along with purchase of the and along with the purchasing of the app. It's interesting how things have evolved now. I think maybe it's because people need more assurance before buying. Probably that's why. And then like if you're getting too many options where people are like seeing applications with says $5, $10, $25, they're automatically just gonna move forward rather than actually clicking on it. So I think that's why people might have moved towards this model where it's kind of seems like it's a freemium or a freemium application, but actually it's not even a freemium application. You go in, they make you go through onboarding process of 3 to 6 slides, and then bam, they hit you with a paywall so that you purchase at that time. I think that's what's going on. But if anyone has any insight in regards to that, yeah, do jump in. Okay. So this guy's been really irritating today, so I don't know what's going on, but we'll see how we are able to fix this. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Should I close this and then restart? Seems like it. Let's start a new show. PX Expo start. No, you didn't like that? Maybe you can. Expo start. Something happened to my keyboard. Oh, crap. Okay, let's see if this did anything. Huh? Did I get logged into something else? I need a second. Not functioning properly. What happened? The issues that you have to go through trying to do serious work. I think my battery just ran out. Nope, that's working now. And it's not. Oh no, it works. Okay. No, don't save. Okay. No. No, not this one, the other one. Oh, come on. Why was the recipe cut when I saved the recipe for one pot chili mac and cheese? I'm telling you, I hate the UI for this app right now. It's really bad. It has no X factor in it. It's just like, really bland right now. So I have to work on that too. So it says, so that recipe was cut because the app was being too aggressive about what it kept when turning raw text into structured ingredients. Oh my goodness. So if you want, I can add one more rule specific for phrase like one part, so that. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay, I think I'm gonna put a stop to this stream today, now, and then we'll continue back tomorrow, hopefully around 2 p.m. EST or after that. Feel free to join in, and then we'll see what we're gonna be doing next on that. And in the meanwhile, if you have just any questions, just feel free to drop that in the comment. Hopefully I'm going to be coming up with a newsletter soon too, so that people can sign up to my newsletter. I am thinking maybe I am going to start off by submission once a week, just for you guys to follow along on my journey as well. Yeah, I understand. I completely hold on. Let me just. So I completely understand that, I am kind of struggling over here by getting things done, but that's the whole part of this series. I want to struggle just so that I could learn a lot of these things as well. So coding wise, I'm not learning coding, but I'm just learning how I can use AI to, create things. And right now, it's about creating this app that's always have been in my mind, and I just want to put it out there in the app store, and then monetize on it, just so if anyone else has like these kind of dreams where they've always thought about creating apps or something like that, they can follow along and kind of maybe use that as an inspiration too. But yeah, so that's it for today, and we will join back tomorrow.